Hi, I'm Andrea Coutu, and I'm the editor of Consultant Journal. I just wanted to go over some tips for consultants, freelancers, coaches, and counselors to use in managing your safety and client meetings. Now, this applies to other people too. You could be working in real estate or personal services, maybe you're a personal trainer. There are lots of situations where people need to meet with prospective clients. Well, a lot of people say that consultants and small business owners take up all the good seats in coffee shops, and that's probably true. From my own assessment, I'd say that if you go in there at 11 a.m. or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, probably half the seats are taken up by consultants and small business owners, as well as people who are going out on their first online date with someone they've met from an online dating site. And there's a reason for that. It's because no matter what kind of work you take part in, you've probably gone over some safety precautions. If you work in construction, you always have a hard hat. If you're going to be around a fire, you bring a fire extinguisher. If you're in boating, you make sure you have your life-saving equipment like a life vest or a life preserver on board and things like that. Well, the same with consultants and other small business owners. You need to take care of your personal safety first before you can really be in a position to feel comfortable enough to be helping a client. Take a look at your own security and how you feel. Safe public venues, like a coffee shop, make really good first meeting places. That's because there's lots of eyes on you, there's lots of witnesses around, it's a pretty casual environment. You don't have to worry about making a scene if you get up after a few minutes and leave, because lots of people do that in a coffee shop, and it's also okay to meet for an extended time. And it's also easy for people just to look in on you if you have some concerns and you have a friend or someone look in. So it's a pretty public place and somewhere where people can be keeping an eye on you if you need some help with a situation, perhaps if you do run into a troublesome client. Most of the time, in almost any situation, things are going to go well, but it's just nice to have things in place in case you do run into someone a bit troublesome. Meeting in a public place like a coffee shop, even for a short amount of time, allows you to decide whether you feel right about this client. Now, I've run into some situations before where I've felt very uncomfortable. I've had clients hit on me. I've had them ask for very personal details, I should say. I've had them hammer on the table and swear at me. And I've also ended up going to someone's office, and when I got there, it turned out that they were actually in a work-live studio in a concrete building, and then it was really kind of more like an apartment, and they had boxing gear and stuff like that. I felt very uncomfortable there. And I've been doing this 15 years, and just a few times I've run into situations. Fortunately, nothing major has ever happened, but I advocate going to coffee shops just so that you're in a very public place for those meetings. Coffee shop gives you an opportunity to talk with the client, reflect on how you feel about them, and assess the situation. You get a chance to see how you feel about the prospective client before you ever bring them into a more private setting, such as your office or even a private office in a shared workspace. By taking stock of your personal safety, you can help yourself keep from getting stuck on thin ice. And you do that by taking the same care that you give your home or office. You take steps to secure your home or office, so take steps with your own personal security. Consider a meeting in a public place. Now, if you don't like coffee shops, that's okay. Maybe you like restaurants. I know someone who runs a very successful engineering firm who runs it out of a very upscale restaurant when he has meetings with prospective clients. But some people like to rent a shared workspace. They rent a private office in that workspace, maybe one that has a window on the door. They have the other people there go by and check in on them. But it's still more public than meeting with someone in their own private office or going somewhere and finding out that what you thought was going to be a very busy small business office just turns to be one person in an office behind a closed door. So I really recommend meeting with people in a public place. But what if you do get into a situation where you need more privacy for the client? Maybe you are in a personal coaching or counseling situation, or maybe you're even just dealing with the client's own sensitive business information. Well, in those cases where maybe you need to be working in a more private area, or where you're perhaps even going into the client's home or something like that, there are more steps you can take, and I do share those in another video as well as on my website. If you go in there and search about managing risk for consultants in client meetings, you can get more information. And if you'd like more help with your small business, whether it's on managing your safety in client meetings or running a business or setting your fees, you can get that information at Consultant Journal at www.consultantjournal.com. Thanks for listening. I'm Andrea Coutu. Take care.